The story begins as we see a boy named Pei, who rushes to get to work. We learn he's just an average guy, who got a normal job after graduating from college, but he finds his boss to be toxic. He makes it to the train station, and the doors are about to close, but he charges in, and manages to get on just in time. We see that it's 1 minute to 9, but Pei dashes through, and he manages to sign in at the last moment. The morning goes by, and Pei starts thinking about what he should order for lunch, but he has to compare all the different discounts to get the best deal since he's broke. After he eats his lunch, he starts playing a game to relax, but when he notices his boss, he quickly tabs to a different screen. The boss watches from behind him, but doesn't notice anything. Pei continues with his game, but his boss constantly tries to catch him, trying to sneak up on him. At 6 p.m., Pei is the first to log off, preparing to get home as soon as possible, but he's stopped by his boss. His boss asks for a copy of his presentation, but Pei notes that the deadline is a week away. His boss insists on getting it today, but Pei refuses, telling his boss off. His boss threatens to fire him, but he doesn't care, telling his boss not to forget his severance or else he will sue. But we see this was just all his imagination, as he agrees to work overtime to get the presentation done. We see Pei working until he's the last one in the office, when the light goes out, and he suddenly gets a message. He sees that his friend sent him a quiz to see his fortune, but he accidentally drops his phone into his bin. As he goes to pick it up, he sees the screen that promises to reveal his fortune, and there's suddenly a voice that says the fortune conversion system will be activated. His phone bursts with light, and countless talismans suddenly appear, circling around him. He gets sucked up in the air, and thrown into his bin, causing him to disappear. He gets woken up by his friend Yang, who tells him to get up for the dean's class, because attendance will be taken. He's confused as he looks around, and his roommates tell him to get up as they leave. Pei realizes he's in his old college dorm, and he's gone back to when he was a freshman. He wonders what's going on, and he thinks about going to his class, but he remembers that the dean never actually took attendance in his class, while there was another teacher who always acted friendly, saying attendance didn't matter, but at the end of the semester, failed everyone that didn't attend. He thinks about how to get back to the future, but realizes that this is his chance to change his life, so he doesn't end up working a dead-end job. He's suddenly about to fall, but his fortune conversion system activates. The system comes to life, and introduces itself as Richie. It explains that the system will give him a startup fund to help him get rich. He's given $50,000 to begin with, and he instantly thinks about the things he can buy. Richie goes on to explain that the system will give him money at regular intervals, which he can use to run a company, and based on his profit-to-loss conversion rate, he can earn money for himself. Pei gets excited about getting rich, and Richie generates his profit-to-loss conversion rate, but it doesn't go as expected, because his loss ratio is higher than his profit rate, so losing money is actually more profitable. He gets excited thinking it will be easier to lose money than earn it, so he celebrates how lucky he is. Richie tells him the next step is to register a company, so he wonders what kind of field he should get into, thinking of a shortcut, but Richie mentions a bunch of rules and restrictions, so he realizes he needs to have a legitimate company. He asks for some time to think, and he looks for some ideas. As he checks his phone, he realizes that the games industry would be perfect to lose his money, since it's hard to actually become successful. He tells Richie his decision, but accidentally names his company something ridiculous, but doesn't care since he doesn't plan to be successful. Richie goes on to warn him that he can't tell anyone about the system, or else he will face a punishment. Richie wishes him the best of luck, and a 14-day timer appears. Pei panics as he wonders how he can develop a game in only 14 days, and Yang returns to the dorm. Pei asks him if it's possible to make a game in only 2 weeks, and Yang says it's actually easy, revealing a platform filled with templates and resources that make it possible to make a game without even knowing how to code. We see Pei looking over the platform in the library, realizing it's not the best, but thinks it's perfect for just making a bad game. He spends $20,000 on a driving simulator template, paying $15,000 for background assets, and he adds some other basic features, managing to spend all his money. He thinks about what the gameplay should be like, and he decides to make the most boring game possible. He creates the course for the game, and he ends up making it over 8 hours long, thinking the players will hate it. He thinks it's perfect, calling the game The Lonely Desert Road, and he decides to sell it for only 1 yuan, so he can have the lowest profit in case anyone buys it. He sees that nobody is buying his game, so he becomes happy, thinking he's going to make a profit. Their neighbors enter the dorm, inviting them to play video games, but Pei tells them that he won't be playing, because he wasn't able to sleep the previous night. His roommates play against their neighbors, but they realize that they're all noobs, and they end up losing the match. As they continue playing, Pei rests on his bed, as Yang wonders if they're bothering him, but he reveals that he's enjoying the moment. We learn that after he started working, he bought all the games he wanted, but he wasn't able to play them because he was too busy with his tasks. But he knows that everything's going to be different, because he just needs to lose money to earn profit, thinking he'll never need to work again, so he can live the life he always dreamed of. We meet the content creator Chao, and we learn that he's popular for covering bad games in his channel, but he's struggling to make money because he can't find a sponsor. He looks for a game to cover for his next video, and he finds The Lonely Desert Road. He reads the introduction, which mentions that the game will make him reflect on his life. He finds it interesting, so he decides to play it, and he's surprised to learn that it has no story whatsoever. He starts driving in the desert, but he becomes distracted, so he ends up crashing, causing him to lose the game. But he uses his controller, and he spends hours trying to complete it. But he starts to feel drowsy, so he tries to pause the game, but he realizes that he can't, and he ends up crashing again, causing him to become angry. He becomes determined to finish the game, thinking his gaming skills are being tested, so he decides to play it with everything he has.